Since the dawn of consciousness, humanity has looked at the stars and asked one fundamental question. Why is there something rather than nothing? For many, this is a question of pure faith. For others, it is a matter of biology and physics. But in the school of Fiqh-e-Jafferia, the search for God is not an abandonment of reason. It is the ultimate fulfillment of it. Today, we explore the existence of a creator through two lenses: the empirical evidence of modern science and the profound logical traditions of the Ahlul Bayt. Physics tells us that the universe is governed by constants. If the force of gravity were slightly stronger, the universe would have collapsed back on itself long ago. If it were slightly weaker, stars and planets would never have formed. This is known as the Goldilocks effect. Everything is just right. This mirrors the teachings of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, as in the famous Hadith al-Mufadhdhal. The Imam directed his student Mufadhdhal to contemplate the design of the universe. Look at the structure of the universe. The assembly of its parts is perfectly ordered. This indicates that the creator is one, and he is the designer. In Fiqh-e-Jafferia, the AQL, Intellect, is a primary source of guidance. We are taught that the complexity of a bird's wing, or the human eye, is a sign, ayat. Science describes the mechanism, how it works, but the Imam's teachings point us to the maker, who designed it. Most physicists agree on the Big Bang theory, that the universe had a beginning roughly 13.8 billion years ago. If the universe had a beginning, it must have had a cause. This is the law of causality. Nothing comes from nothing. This aligns with the Cosmological Argument, heavily emphasized in Shia theology. Imam Ali, in the very first sermon of Nahj al-Balagha, discusses the nature of God's existence. He explains that God is not subject to time or space because he created time and space. Fiqh-e-Jafferia posits that the universe is mumkin al-Wujud, contingent. It doesn't have to exist. Since it does exist, it must rely on a Wajib al-Wujud, necessary being, a being whose existence is essential and who started the chain of causality without being caused by anything else. DNA is often described as the software of life. It is a sophisticated code containing the instructions for building an organism. In our experience, code never writes itself. It requires a coder. In Shia jurisprudence and philosophy, the distinction between the physical body and the ruh, soul, is vital. While science observes the chemical reactions in the brain, Fiqh-e-Jafferia argues that consciousness, the I, that experiences love, justice, and beauty, cannot be reduced to mere atoms. The Imams taught that the human fitra, innate nature, is hardwired to seek a higher power. Just as thirst is proof of the existence of water, our innate thirst for ultimate justice and perfection is proof of the existence of a perfect being. Science seeks a unified theory, a single set of laws that explains everything. The Jafari perspective. This quest for unity is the essence of Tawheed. In Fiqh-e-Jafferia, Tawheed isn't just a number, it is the concept that God is simple, indivisible, and unique. If there were multiple creators, we would see conflict in the laws of physics. As the Quran states and the Imams interpreted, had there been within the heavens and earth gods besides Allah, they both would have been ruined. 21:22. The fact that a planet in a distant galaxy follows the same laws of gravity as an apple falling on Earth suggests a single unified origin. To understand the Jafari approach to science, we must look at a 4-day lecture given by the 6th Imam, Ja'far al-Sadiq, to his companion Mufadhdhal. This wasn't just a religious sermon, it was a detailed observation of the natural world that predated modern biology by over 1,000 years. The Imam began with the human body. He asked Mufadhdhal to consider the process of nutrition. The Imam's insight. He described how the stomach cooks the food, digestion, and how the liver refines it to be sent to the rest of the body through narrow pipes, blood vessels. The scientific link. Today, we call this metabolism and the circulatory system. The Imam argued that the placement of the stomach, the liver, and the heart isn't random. If the liver were placed elsewhere, the energy transport system of the body would fail. He then pointed to the human senses. Why are our eyes placed in the head like lamps on a tower? The Imam's insight. If the eyes were in the hands or feet, they would be prone to injury and wouldn't provide a wide field of vision. Scientific concept. This is optimal functional design. In evolutionary biology, we see this as survival efficiency. In Fiqh-e-Jafferia, we see this as the hikmah, wisdom, of a creator who knows the needs of his creation before they even exist. The Imam then moved his gaze from the body to the sky. He spoke of the air and the void. The Imam's insight. He noted that the air is a carrier of sound and a protector of life. He remarked that if the air were too thin, life would suffocate. If it were too thick, movement would be impossible. The scientific link. Modern atmospheric science confirms that the Earth's atmosphere is a fine-tuned blanket. It contains the exact 21% oxygen needed for combustion and respiration. It acts as a physical shield against solar radiation and meteorites. To the Imam, this was not a lucky coincidence of chemistry. It was proof of a sustainer, al-Qayyum, who maintains the balance of the elements. One of the most profound points in the Hadith al-Mufadhdhal is the discussion on knowledge and forgetfulness. The Imam's insight. He argued that if humans remembered everything, they would be overwhelmed by grief and unable to focus. If they forgot everything, they could never learn. The balance between memory and forgetting is a calculated gift. The scientific link. Cognitive science now studies selective memory as a vital survival mechanism. The Imam's conclusion to Mufadhdhal was simple yet devastatingly logical. Can a person see a painting and believe there is no painter? Then how can one see the universe and believe there is no creator? Whether we look through the lens of a microscope at the digestive enzymes the Imam described, or through a telescope at the expansion of the universe, we find the same message. Science provides the how, but Fiqh-e-Jafferia, through the wisdom of the Ahlul Bayt, provides the who. Reason does not lead us away from God. If followed to its logical end, it leads us directly to his doorstep. Does God exist? Science gives us the what, the intricate details of a universe governed by math and logic. Fiqh-e-Jafferia gives us the why, pointing out that logic itself is a gift from a rational creator. To the follower of the Ahlul Bayt, the laboratory and the prayer mat are not enemies. They are two different windows looking out at the same magnificent reality. As Imam Ali famously said, "I did not see anything except that I saw Allah before it, after it, and with it." The proof is not just in a book or a formula. It is in the very fact that you are here, conscious, and asking the question.